And welcome back, everybody, to week 3 of Emergence Days for Split 1. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Colin the Crow Clark. He's eating. I stopped eating before we went live and before the camera came on. And I did that because I knew I had to talk. Colin, you didn't do that, but that's okay. You're eating popcorn. How much butter and salt you got on the popcorn, man?
Way too much for somebody with heart problems like me. I'd tell you that much. Way too much. My doctor, I hope to God, like, all right, look, I hope my doctor watches UMG because, you know, gotta love the fact that they might be out there supporting. I doubt he is, but if he was and he saw the way this popcorn was made, I'd probably get some phone calls right about now.
Hey, but honestly, though, is popcorn really popcorn without like an excess butter and salt on it, you know?
That's nothing is whatever it is without an excess of salt and butter in this household, man. I mean, swear, oh God. Look, we always talk about it. Whenever y'all go to Blaze's place and y'all cook with Blaze, his meals are going to be lean, trim. They're going to be nice. They're going to be gourmet 5-star meals. You come here, you're going to be getting a lot of lard and a lot of butter to help everything taste better. That's all we do.
Which is gourmet in the South, okay? That's gourmet in the South. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of soul food, a little bit of country cooking, okay? I love it. Hey, Colin, I need to go back to Georgia, man, because that's where my mom's at. I'm telling you, they got the best food over there in Savannah. But hey, either way, we could talk about food all day, Colin. We could open up a podcast about it. Let's talk about gears, all right? Let's get back on track with the bracket. Again, we mentioned that F&I auction matchup is going to be great, at least in my opinion, because it's going to be that old style what I used to, say Latin America was known for, in your face, just pure out all aggression. I think we've developed more past that, but I think this is going to be a blast from the past, in my opinion. And Pittsburgh Knights and E United. Once again, we'll rematch. Colin mentioned, obviously they played on Tuesday. They also played on Thursday. The result was E United winning 3-1 over Pittsburgh Knights on both of those occasions. And E United is looking even stronger tonight, in my opinion, than they've looked before. That victory over Rebel 3-0 after what they did yesterday. Yo, I am thinking E United might be serious tonight.
They got to be serious. They're going up against the Pittsburgh Knights, who just beat Rise for, I think, the first time anybody's beaten Rise in a hot minute.
Been a while.
Especially with Rise being able to come back in a lot of those situations and keep the games close, keep the games interesting. On the opposite side of the bracket, I just think that's going to be such a good fight to see, because I don't think Oxygen is going to slow down for anybody. And I certainly don't believe Fire and Ice, after the success they felt in matchup number 1, is going to do anything except try to pressure out Oxygen. They're going to try to get up into the face of Oxygen and make them very uncomfortable. So both of these matchups tonight, I think there's a lot on the line for both of them, but for very different reasons. E United, they want to keep the ball rolling. Fire and Ice and Oxygen continuing to find that true identity that we both said they might be suffering a little bit from.
I agree. The identity is definitely there, unless in terms of not being there, right? They definitely need to find it. Excuse me. I agree with you 100% on that one, but hey, let's get into it. Let's look at our maps, for the Fire and Ice matchup, at least to start off. I'm glad they got it done, because they were torching our time at the beginning. So this is a nice change of pace. We're going to be starting off on Reactor. And you want to talk about the perfect map to get in your face and fight? Well, Reactor is a great start, and so is Checkout, an excellent compliment. But then Training Grounds, let's not forget, okay, Fire and Ice absolutely beat down Elevate on that map. So we might be seeing F&I be off to a pretty good start.
This is going to be very interesting, because Oxygen also has shown us that they're pretty strong at Checkout too. So that map 2 is going to get very close. It's going to be very much a knife's edge. I do believe we're probably going to get to see a map 4, which I'm happy about, because we do get the chance to see another Reactor matchup. A Ritual matchup. I love Ritual as a map. Gears was actually tweeting out today some of the steps or some of the hints to make the Easter egg happen on that map. I know we'll never have it happen in an actual competitive game. Maybe we will if, we don't have to have a reset and we just have a technical timeout. I'll have to
it happened in a competitive game.
They did the Ritual Easter egg?
Oh, not the Ritual. Excuse me. I'm thinking Training Grounds. They did a Training Grounds Easter egg. My apologies.
Okay.
And that
I was about to say,
it was E United, and I think they were playing against, who were they playing against? My goodness. But whoever it was, they ended up doing it during one of the technical pauses on TG.
Thank goodness. Hey, look, Easter eggs are nice for everybody.
Well, they also shake you up, too, when you're not expecting music to be coming through, and you're like, where's the music coming from? That is something that could shake you, but Easter eggs are cool. You know, now one Easter egg that I am disappointed we don't see often at all, actually really never, is no one blows the horn anymore on Harbor. Like, what's up with that?
I think it was just, it's not really an Easter egg. It's just,
I don't care if it's not,
like,
just no one's blowing the horn.
it's an interactable, but I feel
No
you.
one does.
I appreciated it back in the day. Like, one of my favorite things, I think it was, I'm trying to remember exactly who it was who did it. It was Mental. Mental got like a 4-piece at the top of Stern. Like, it was nasty. It was on land. It was in a winner's bracket game. It wasn't against Echo Fox. I think it was against, at the time, Elevate. He kills 4 out of the 5 living members of Elevate up at Stern, and then he stops and he's not moving, like he's not even touching his controller. And then it was like he just like looked at his controller and saw that he had something he could interact with and pressed X and then blew the horn. And from that point forward, Mental was like, oh my God, every time I wipe a team at Stern, I'm gonna blow the horn. And it was like, why did Billy have to find this out?
So he genuinely just didn't know. He just happened to figure it out right then and there. That's actually pretty special. I can't lie. And the fact that Mental found it is pretty brutal, because you know how many teams he was wiping? Do you know how many players he was taking down? And
how many times we had to hear it in our headset?
Oh, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. Like that, in a way, it's the perfect player to find it, because he's the one who can consistently wipe teams. You know, just how good Mental was. It's pretty funny. I could just see him on stage, literally just looking down and just pressing it. Totally confused as to what
does this
about.
do? Why can I pick something up? What is this? But no, in all seriousness, do we have the? I hate to do this. Do we have the maps for the other setup? Because now I really want to see something.
I think we're waiting currently on Pittsburgh Knights and New United, which is fair. FNI and Oxygen were done a lot earlier, so right. Pittsburgh Knights, they just finished, Colin. So give them a little bit of time.
How hard
right?
can it be, man? Look, we know what y'all want to play. Don't be silly. Check out map 2 so that we can have 6 out of 6 tonight. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I just want
you want to check out across the board.
Like, it would just be. I like statistical anomalies, and I don't think I've ever seen an entire night of EDAYS where checkout was always map 2.
Was it map 2 for every single round 1, by the way?
Every single round 1 played checkout on map 2.
Okay, fair enough. Because I know we didn't see one of them. But hey, we got it. No, we don't. It's a Fira. Hey, it's all good, though. You get Clock Tower over there, too. It's still a C, so it's still in the rotation in a way with the letter C. It's just not checkout.
You know what? I'm going to give it to you. I'm fine with that. We're going to go to Clock Tower for map 5 if we make it there. But the interesting thing is the Knights have let E United have Harbor, but that's kind of like both teams letting the other one have it, because we know how dangerous Pittsburgh is at that mid-winch fight, with a guy like Raver still able to get loose as he's ever been on a map like Harbor. But up top, you've always had the always dangerous, ever-present Penny Bounce up there. That's a good trade-off. These 3 maps in the middle are probably going to get extraordinarily interesting just from a closeness standpoint, because of the fact that I really think that District and Clock Tower favors one of the 2 teams. I think District does favor E United from their playstyle from the last time I saw them play District. And I think Clock Tower actually favors the Knights because of how Knights has always been so aggressive over the long shot and what they've been able to do once they get that power weapon. Those 3 middle maps just become big question marks to me, Taylor.
I agree. You know, it's funny. Let me actually go back to Emergence days and take a look at the series. So Ritual, which isn't on there, Checkout obviously isn't being played. Training Grounds isn't. You know what? That's kind of funny. So again, this is the 3rd time they played. This is the 3rd time they played in a span of literally like a week and a half, and they've now transitioned to every single escalation map. So just take that into account. The first time they played was on Training Grounds, and that was during EDAYS last week. And then they played against each other, obviously, on Tuesday. We pointed out there in the Pro League matchup.
Picked what?
It was, I don't have who picked what. I do not, unfortunately. I'll start writing that down. That is something that I need to start taking into account. But Vaskar was the 2nd escalation during the Pro League matchup, and now they're playing Harbor. So these guys are running the gambit, and I don't know if they're just testing each other out to kind of figure out, you know, and just literally, let's just run every map and just see what happens. I doubt they did that for Pro League. I highly doubt they did that for Pro League. They did whatever was best for them in their own interest. But again, we have seen just about every single control, execution, and escalation now over the past 3 times they've competed. Because even now, Reactor for the opening maps, District, Afira, Harbor, like we've seen District once. Have we even seen Afira? I don't even think we've seen Afira. No, we would have seen Afira. It would have been map number 5, but we haven't seen it.
We just saw Afira last series between Rise and the Knights.
Correct, but I'm saying in terms of E United versus Pittsburgh Knights, we haven't.
No, I
seen
don't think we've
play.
seen it between these two.
We would have in the Pro League matchup if it went to map 5, but it didn't.
But yeah, we haven't seen it like actually get played out.
Correct.
Two teams. Sorry, I thought you were talking about just in general tonight, and I was like,
no,
Taylor. I know I've been thinking about food, but I remember calling that match. I swear to God.
No, I was just saying, like, I know I was just pointing out, like, again, we're running different maps every single series. So again, you know, we've seen literally just about every map that can be played in the competitive rotation across all game modes over these last 3 times. Pittsburgh Knights and United have matched up against each other. So they're either filling each other out or they're just, I mean, genuinely just trying to see what works against the other, which I guess would be filling each other out. But it's just interesting to me because normally you see the same series over and over again. This has been unique all 3 times.
I think what's happening, what you're seeing a lot of is the Knights are still having some struggles in some areas. And one of the things that they've got to do is they've got to kind of really challenge themselves. And one of the things, I mean, it's almost like weightlifting. The reason you have a personal record, you have a personal best is because you're willing to challenge your top end. And I think that's what the Knights are doing by playing all these different maps against the United. Because at the end of the day, United is still one of the best teams on the planet, and if you can go toe-to-toe with them on any map that's given to you, you should be feeling pretty confident against anybody else. I know other people might say, well, the map selection, you know, doesn't really matter as much, but that's why you see teams favor certain maps. You can't tell me that maps don't matter when you constantly see the same team, picking the same map. And then I think right now what we got to hope for is, I thought I was bugging out, dude. I saw the names changing. I thought I had lost it. I thought this was it. I was like, Taylor, tell my family I love.
What would you think? They switched off semifinals?
No, I didn't know what was happening. I caught it out of the corner of my eye, like over here on the monitor where we were switching the teams, and I was like, yep, I'm having a heart attack.
Well, with all the butter and salt, I mean, it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense. The doctor's not here to tell you to stop. Okay, so you got no self-control. You're just going to go in. I feel that, though. I've got a cupcake to my left, and trust me, it's taking everything in my power not to eat that cupcake. It's only got one more bite
frosting?
left. Huh?
What kind of frosting?
Oh, cream cheese. Why? If
show it off.
But look, it's going to look sad. Look, it's going to look sad because I've already eaten half of it. There.
Well, all right, look, now
it's
now
not the bud cakes.
Eat the rest. Eat the rest. Come on, Taylor. Come on.
We're professional here.
Take a bite.
All right, I'll take a bite of the cupcake.
Yes.
I mean, come on, I can't resist food. Let's be very serious here.
Look, yeah. It's so good. It hits oh yeah. Oh yeah. Put it in.
It's like a chip. You can't just have one of those guys, man. You got to eat the entire bag. In a cupcake, you can't just take one bite. You got to eat the entire thing at one time, all right?
I believe it. Look, I got popcorn. You can't just eat one kernel of popcorn. I ain't lying to you about that over here.
You eat one, you're like, I'm good.
All right, I'm done. I don't need no more. I'm out.
That was great. That was an awesome meal. I'm happy. I could watch the rest of the movie now. I had that one kernel. I'm good. I'm satiated. No worries.
Fire and Ice here. They win that initial Torco placement, but they don't get the hill, and they've given up a decent amount of points already. They're going to try to pressure back in. Rapidz is looking for one of those little angles to hit. Oxygen's going to give Rocky up. I mean, Solar just kept taking shots at him. Nobody pulled up to try to challenge him. They just absolutely let Rocky die right there. There's no doubt about it. My man got soloed out.
Well, it happens to the best of us, I guess. Happening to you earlier in your ranked matches. Hate to bring that up. I'm sorry. Handles is doing his thing. I know Handles is all love for you, brother, but like he had it out for you. Let's be very clear. It's competitive out there. Either way, though, Oxygen, decent size lead. I do like this map for a lot of reasons. Like I said, I love the battle that we're seeing, but I did expect Fire and Ice to put up a much bigger fight off the beginning, but my lord, Oxygen is just really having their way with F&I, and Rocky is the guy leading the pack with 5 total kills to his name. Chavii, where you at, man? I've been bragging. I've been pumping you up. I need to see him pop off like Rocky's doing. Or Scavzy. I mean, Lord, who else?
I think what you're seeing out of this situation or out of this setup, Chavii does have some great maps under his belt, has some really good stat lines coming into this. The problem is you have teams that are starting to kind of isolate Chavii. And you see how Chavii's playing behind Solar? He can't get up into somebody's face. He can't make the kind of plays he wants to make. And because of that, they both get wiped away. They both get killed off quickly and suddenly, and they give up the over-rotation and the extra flank angle to a guy like Bronny, who's now going to make sure that nobody can flank out his teammates, that everybody spawns out in front, and everybody's going to have to come head first into the Lancers of Oxygen.
We need to see some big moves here for this break. Rocky literally taking on the entirety of F&I. Luckily, he's got some help with the Lancer fire, and Solar is dead. The right Scavzy, pure confidence to make that push. Well done from him. Scavzy, a guy on Oxygen who played so well yesterday. Make no mistake, the entire roster from Oxygen played well yesterday, but Scavzy, you know, he's always had a target on his back since he joined this roster. I don't think Bronny as much as Scavzy, right? Because he was, or obviously Pushies was, you know, taken off, Scavzy was put in his place. A lot of people question that. But I think Scavzy has truly proven his worth. Maybe not in the beginning, but he's definitely showing it now and able to flex his muscles. I'm truly a fan of this guy.
Well, Scavzy always kind of got a bad rap because of the squads he was on. He was always looked at as, you know, he played second fiddle. He was out there, he was in the band, he was on the stage, but he was never getting the shine that a lead singer or a lead guitarist, even a rhythm guitarist was getting. And one of the things that Scavzy, to me, that impresses me about Scavzy, it seems like he's never cared about that. He's more than happy to play whatever fiddle, whatever chair you want him to be in. He's more than happy to give the people a show that excites and delights, like Solar just went absolutely massive with a chunk, a shot punch for a down and a meat shield, and another kill. Holy moly, goodness gracious, good God almighty. Golly, Miss Molly, great balls of fire, the whole kit and caboodle.
Well, Solar is a guy that can make you excited, clearly. And I got to say, Solar, just like I was pumping up Scavzy, Solar is a great player in his own right. I've been watching him throughout the Challenges series for quite some time. And I got to say, he really hardly at all disappoints. So really like watching him on the battlefield, especially now that he's a Pro League team. Again, F&I still needs a lot of work, without question, but I do believe in the individual players. Truly, I do. It's just the team needs to find a way to come together and play as one cohesive unit. After all, though, Oxygen has managed to cut that debt just about in half, 61 to 126. The big battle now is Rocky and Oxygen and Abolics in general was just trying to lock in the torque bone. That's exactly what they do. They managed to dip out and get away, and they also have control of the fresh hill. The way this is looking to me, Fire and Ice is having some big flash in the pan plays, aka Solar from before, but Oxygen is the better all-around team right now, and we knew that coming into this series, but Oxygen could have a severe loss, and I think they're going to, just with what I'm looking at so far.
And a good little kill there, a good couple of kills there for Oxygen. They got to fight back into the hill. Nobody's in their hill yet from Fire and Ice, so it's staying neutralized. Scavzy's going to get revived here, but Chavii has a flank angle. He spawned out behind these players from Oxygen, so he's going to be able to shoot him directly in the back. Solar by himself. He's going to rotate around that pillar. He's going to get one kill, but he's going to go down, and he's going to get cleaned up here momentarily. A couple of players from Fire and Ice, as a matter of fact, getting cleaned up momentarily. The impressive thing to me, like you said, is you get these splashes in the pan from Fire and Ice where they get a couple of kills. They get, oh, don't do it to a Rapidz. Oh, don't do it to him. He has to see him, right? There's no shot he doesn't see him. Yeah, he sees his gun. I was going to say, there's no shot. Taylor, I love you. I'll keep talking.
I love you too, man. No, there was no way Scavzy knew that Rapidz was on the other end like that, or at least didn't know he was there. And he's actually going to get the cleanup. But even so, like, big victories, it seems, but 182 to 67 is still where the scoreline will sit. Granted, though, F&I were on that last hill. They did get a bit of the scrap time, but now more work to be done. I feel like they're overstaying their welcome on certain hills, and it's kind of reminiscent of what they were doing on Regency for a little bit of time.
But look at this. Way Fire and Ice is pushing 3D. They finally throw one person off the side who's been damaged up, and Rocky's just waiting there. Rocky using that strafe. He's just kind of circling himself in the same position, waiting for that player to up A at him. He hits a big brick. L triggers out. They're going to turn and pull out the... Yo, Scavzy, no, it wasn't Scavzy. Who was fighting with Scavzy? Player 7. Abolics, if you wanted my heart, Abolics, you could have just asked for it. But the fact that you saw that they were trying to build space and pull you into a fight, and then you just pulled out Snub and said, "You're full red. I'm just going to down you for 30 yards. It's fine." I mean, that brings a tear to my eye. That warms my heart right there. Smart plays always make me happy.
Sometimes even though you know something is easy, there's still some gratification with making it more difficult to achieve that same goal. Life lessons from Taylor Reflections Noble. Good shot from Rocky. That's the second one. He's lining up for a third, and Solar is about to have a very difficult time because the Nasher's in his face, and Chavii falls to the rest of the teammates from Oxygen, taking him out. Like I said earlier, I did foresee F&I taking a pretty severe loss here. Not before the map. I thought it was going to be more evenly based, but Oxygen has quite simply just been too good. F&I, like I mentioned, good flash in the pan plays, great explosive plays from Solar. Maybe we see Chavii pop off a little here and there, but it's just not enough because the team is just not working together correctly. And even if they are, Oxygen is just so well oiled, at least as of recently, that it's no comparison. Look at those downs, Colin. Beautiful to see.
They're putting Fire and Ice into a... My man said, he was trying to play a little skip to my Lou or something. He was hopping over the top. He was like,
freak out
I'm joining the fight.
Freak out mode, man. It's like, hey, I got to get out of here, but there's nowhere to go.
He said, I'm coming over. And he was like, my mom said you can't spend the night. I'm sorry. And then he just shot him straight.
Isn't that the worst, though, when you called as a kid? Hey, man, can you stay tonight? No, I can't. Sorry. Dang, why do you hate me?
You're gonna have to ask my mom, because if I ask, she's gonna say no. That was my favorite one.
That was always the best one, wasn't it? Because you knew exactly how to play second fiddle. But hey, Chavii, come on, baby. Don't let Abolics do it to you. No, this is your opportunity after nice. Stand strong. What? Okay, Abolics still alive. Weird, but he's going to double back and try and take down Solars. This is a big fight. Solar is down. You hate to see it. I'm blown away Abolics is still alive. I'm going to be completely honest.
He's keeping and playing his life for as long as he can. Rapidz is going to clean up that kill there. Finally onto Abolics, and they're going to take over this hill with, what, 15 seconds to go? They're trying to get up over 100. They're getting it respectable. You know what I'm saying? They got to break triple digits here.
I guess that's the game plan. I'd rather be at 300, but if you want to be satisfied at 100, I guess that's the way it is. But they're only at 96, so still more work to be done, it seems. Good thing is, though, they do have Toxiq in mid, firing out those shots with the torque bow. He did connect onto Bronny, so good shot from him. 3 more torques remain, and maybe Rocky could be another victim. Rocky's going to try and get up to him as long as he can. Toxiq literally watched him sneak up to him. I'm kind of blown away by that.
Well, this is one of those things where you're down 263 to 108. You don't really have the time to check all of your corners. You've got to be able to kind of push to the hill, help your teammates out, and not really give up those extra angles, extra lanes. The shock is going to block out the easy rotation in, that front door, that big opening, and they're going to have some Lancer fire here, but they don't have the over-the-top angle. Toxiq, as long as he is where he is, they can't push in for free. They'll be damaged up. They'll be easy one-shot attempts from anybody trying to get inside of the hill. Rocky will go in first to get taken down first. Solar now in a 2v1 situation if Scavzy were to try to turn and burn, but Scavzy flies across the top of the map. Rocky gets that, or excuse me, Abolics gets the down on Solar. Rapidz and Solar have to leave that hill. Nobody inside of it now. Solar getting the last few moments of it. And it looks like Oxygen might decide to go for the torque and the control over that next hill, that top right corner of the map.
That's exactly what they're going to do, and this is where they most likely choose, or at least are choosing, to end it right here, right now. And Fire and Ice needs to be on high alert and ready to attack. It's not going to be easy to do, especially with Rocky having the torque bow. But F&I, to their credit, they do have the top side, Colin, so they can beam down shots once Oxygen is breaking through those 2 different choke points. Oxygen making a little bit of moves, though, inside the mid section. Rocky and Bronny currently over there. It looks as if they might consolidate and double back with their teammates here. I would love to see Rocky utilize that torque bow for splash damage when his teammates do in fact go up, but he's actually going to take another line of attack and try and take down Rapidz before Rapidz can get the nades over there for full effect. Whoa.
That was a active torque bow shot onto Rapidz. Chunks him out. And tries to go for the hip fire on Solars, doesn't hit it. He has a chance to shoot down onto him from the elevation, but that's just bad luck. Rapidz spawns right behind him. 2 players in the hill left. Solar turns and burns on one of them. He gets the kill there. Onto Abolics. They will continue to hold on to the hill, and they're coming back here. I mean, they didn't just make this respectable. They are cutting into this lead heavily of Oxygen, who still needs 30 points to finish this out.
Oxygen 30 points away. We've seen this multiple times tonight, Colin, where one team is at 270, but the other team is fighting tooth and nail to come back and remain competitive. And I gotta say, I am impressed with Fire and Ice at this point. I really expected this to end multiple times over, but it quite simply hasn't. And F&I has not only broke the 100-point mark, but they're edging closer to 200, and they are in fact going to break 200. So Fire and Ice are putting up one hell of a fight, even though they had a shaky start, Colin. It seems as if this matchup might be more evenly based than I was even thinking.
And I love the fact that we're seeing Fire and Ice fight back. And the fact that Fire and Ice is not just kind of rolling over and playing dead in this situation. So many teams could do that down. I think it was like 230 to 95 or something like that. You could just roll over and take the first map loss. And Fire and Ice said, you know, that'd be cool and all, but that ain't really who we are deep down inside. And that's a great thing to see from a young team like this, trying to make their name really in this pro league and on the pro scene, as a matter of fact. But Rapidz right here has been not just taken out by Bronny, but his health had about 10 to 15 seconds of time wasted by Bronny. And they get the kill on Toxiq, so these last 2 players basically have to throw flashes and just try to get into the hill to try to keep it neutralized. Only 3 seconds left for a victory for Oxygen, and with those kills, they could wrap it up. Rapidz tries to get in, but he gets his head blown clean off. Map number 1 will go over to Oxygen. They will take a 1-0 lead.
But here we are, Fire and Ice versus Oxygen. Map number 2, we're now moving into checkout. We saw a bit of a rocky Reactor from Fire and Ice. Granted, I do give them, confidence given the fact that they did, in fact, come back like they did. It was pretty spectacular to see. But this is a map where they could be deadly on. But what excites me about this is I go back to my original point. Oxygen F and I have the same mentality as of right now, and that's get in your face and slay each other out. So these rounds could be explosively fast.
Explosively fast indeed. Rocky's going to throw that flash. He's going to try to stop Solar from getting those incendiaries. He's not going to be able to do it, but he does get the down almost immediately. Shots coming out, kills coming through left and right. Center Toxiq, last alive for his squad. And he has been feasted upon now by Oxygen.
So did you see that little bit of a pause from Rocky to kind of see where the troops from F&I are going to go? He wanted to make sure that nobody was cutting back, going for the nades, nobody was taking a pause, and that little bit of a step said, all right, F&I, they're sending 4 strong over here. We just got to meet them head on. And honestly, Fire and Ice, I don't see them ever deviating from that strategy, and I don't think I've ever seen them deviate from the 4v4 headbutt fight on checkout, if I'm not mistaken.
They certainly don't do it very often.
I don't think they do it at all.
You know you're going to say that. You know what's going to happen.
Watch probably right here. I mean, let's be honest. Probably right here.
No, they're not. Look at that wolf pack. Look at them. They might as well be holding hands.
Well, but Oxygen though, Wilson Bronny up top. He was opposite, I believe, before during the first matchup against Thing 2. This time, he's going to get nades for free almost every single round. But F&I takes the advantage down low, and they at least get the first blood. But there might be an answer back. Scavzy is going to pick up a couple himself in conjunction with Rocky. Rapidz now does his best to take down Rocky, but it will not happen. Chavii now forced to go clutch. To his credit, he does take down Bronny, makes it competitive. There is a chance. There is a chance, but not much now, as he does fall. And Oxygen will continue. Well, no, okay. They just want to keep the game going. I'm not against it.
Not against it, but it's not necessarily the sight, we're used to seeing. I like that, though, out of Oxygen. Hey, look, don't get too confident. Don't get too cocky. Take these guys, finish them off, and get on to that grand finals. Be waiting for an opponent rather than possibly getting yourself a little exhausted, a little weary, a little war-torn going into that grand final.
Does Bronny go up top? He does. So Bronny's going to continue to get those nades for free. And Fire and Ice, I'm sure if they take enough deaths from those nades from, like, for example, Solar dying here, they have to surely send somebody up there to challenge, right? You would assume so. Oh, nade out. That's going to split the forces. Even though it doesn't get a kill, it still has some type of effect. Scavzy's been body shot. Toxiq connecting on another, and Fire and Ice selling their way to a victory. And despite Bronny picking up that elimination with a frag, I guess Fire and Ice really didn't care. And I guess they're going to continue to not care.
It's got to be part of their game plan. Look, Fire and Ice loves that fight. They know that if they have a man advantage, if they keep going at it as a 4-man squad and you got a man advantage, that just means you have to convert. It puts the pressure off of you, really. It doesn't really ratchet up any extra added pressure. It says, all right, look, we got a 3v4 over here. We got to get a kill. When you think the pressure's on you at that point, it's literally, all right, guys, all we got to do is fight it now. We can't back up. We can't run away. We got to fight the fight.
Oh, nice trade from Toxiq. Toxic's been popping off from that last round to this one, and he's even trying to do a little bit more, and he will take down Abolics. Great job from him. Bronny now last alive. He's already thrown out both of his frags, and not a lot of ground he can cover. Fire and Ice, 2 explosive back-to-back rounds, and there you have it, right? FNI is a team that is great when it comes to checkout, and they're flexing their muscles now, but Toxiq is the guy to watch out for. The damage is 3,200. He's got 5 kills. He's had an impact with the sniper. He had an impact in that last round holding his ground. Really liking what I'm seeing from him.
And I like the fact that, again, they're not straying away from their game plan. They understand the position they've been put in, and they're trying to make the most of every single round possible. See here with the flashes coming out. This time, Oxygen is going to match them with a 4-person push over here as well. Platform is not going to be challenged by either team just yet, but a lot of damage out early. A lot of damage being traded out. Here comes the last-second stun. Here comes the run from Oxygen. They're trying to get into the middle lanes. They're trying to get this down and a quick kill off. They got to get their revive of their own, and they are up 3-2 now, 3-1 now because of another down getting cleaned up. And Oxygen, they find their answer. They bring that 4th player into the fight. They say, you want to go for a headbutt? I guarantee you my forehead is a heck of a lot harder than things like concrete. It's been there for 35 years, brother.
Hey, well said. Bronny, I don't foresee heading up top and going for the nades anymore. He might. I mean, honestly, he might. I don't think it's the best play, though, because that last round, like you said, Oxygen said, if you want the 4v4 fight, we'll give you the 4v4 fight. Because it works so well, in fact, flawlessly, I think Oxygen is like, all right, this is the winning formula. Let's just literally every single time push them. We know we can outslay them. That's what we are going to do from now on. And in fact, Bronny doesn't go for the nades. Does go on plat, though, trying to get the incense. He gets away. Chavii's already down. That's a big strike. Player 2 gone. That's Rapidz out of the way. Bronny now pushing his issue onto Toxiq. Doubles back onto Solars. And, hey, I'm glad to see Bronny in this 4v4 fight once again. Look how good he is.
Without a doubt. And again, I love the fact that Oxygen said, they're not going to change. Well, you know what? Let's just match them. If they don't want to change, we don't want to change because they clearly have an advantage right here in a 4v4. They clearly are taking care of business. And this is the thing that makes me worry about young teams. Not willing to make any kind of change. Not willing to try to go for something different. Give a different look. They're just going to keep butting their head against this wall right here, and I don't think it's going to serve them very well.
I don't think it will. I really don't. But again, I don't think FNI knows another strategy. I really don't think they do. The only time that I've seen them break away from the 4v4 fight on checkout, Colin, was a while ago, and I forget who they were playing. No, it was during the last chance qualifier. And they were sending a player for the 1v1 for the nades, but it wasn't working. And then they had this aha moment where they all 4 started fighting on checkout, and they didn't lose after that. Actually, I think it was against the Hive roster now, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was. But regardless, though, they did make that play, and it worked out. So again, Fire and Ice, they're just... It's one-dimensional is one way to say it, but it sounds insulting. I still think this is a great fight for FNI, but I would like to see more versatility. But like I said, Oxygen, they found a winning mentality. They're not scared of this fight at all.
Hey, real quick, hold up. Go back to Abolics. Look at that delicious Nasher, by the way.
This is so good.
Let's go. Let's go.
You know, that is...
Hey, look,
guys,
that's your Pro League watching Winskern. Yeah, I mean, come on now. Got to show it all.
So beautiful, man. So tasty. So, dare I say, delicious.
Do you believe because it's pink, it's got to be like strawberry cream, strawberry frosting? Let's
Krispy
go.
Kreme, strawberry donuts. Yeah, definitely. You know, it's funny. You can look at least for me. I don't know about everybody. I can look at that and I can taste it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just know what it tastes like.
You know, the only other thing I've ever been able to do that with is like any food I've ever looked at as a fat guy. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm on that seafood diet, brother. All right, you got to remember that. I'm on. Oh, look at the 3-man push to the hill. You got to get the dude. There you go. I love the fact that Fire and Ice just like they just hit the fire alarm. They were like,
hold up, stop.
You gotta go.
Okay.
He won. He's got it.
Hey, did you not see Chavii bring it to a 1v call and you confidently saying he's got it? Bro, you know how many times we've tried to close it out confidently thinking we know what's going to happen and then all of a sudden the exact opposite happens and then we cast or cursed it? That was almost one of those moments.
You know how I know he had it? Because he had to hit a shot with that delicious Nasher that you can earn when you watching Win with Gears Pro League. Come on now, baby! Woo! Coming into round number 8.
So dumb.
Abolics. He's gonna roll out for that layup. He's gonna roll out for the long shot. He's got the body block from Scavzy. Full red, down but not dead. You gotta get over there. Oh, big body shot on a Solar. Now waiting for somebody else to pressure up onto him. Gonna go for the double bounce, but Chavii had the nades. Chavii had the nades. They changed it. They changed up the strategy. Just in the nick of time, it wins him a round. It brings it to round number 9.
I'm honestly, I gotta say, I'm pleasantly impressed and surprised at how excited you got with that. So, hey, my boy Chavii knows what he's doing. I was just harping on the fact that Fire and Ice never changes anything. They changed it. I love that. See, this is what F&I needs. And now they're going back to the 4v4 fight. Now, but I do want to say, did you see Bronny? Bronny was like, fair enough. Chavii, if you want to go for the nades, I'm going to meet you. And Bronny was there waiting for it, and Chavii wasn't there, so he felt sad. So then he doubled back for the 4v4 fight again. But Bronny was there. I think Bronny was actually deep down and like excited. He loves those 1vs. He likes flexing his muscles. You
do realize Bronny was the embodiment of, oh, you want the smoke? Oh, you want that? You gonna have some of that smoke?
Oh, and
Chavii was like, I really enjoy the smoke, good sir, but I don't really believe the smoke is what I'm ordering at this current moment. Okay.
Oh, nice shot. Solar is down. Abolics is hungry, and he's going to push forward alongside that of Bronny and talk about getting your money's worth with an incense. Solar and Chavii down. Rapidz dead. Toxiq, baby, I know you're good, but not good enough in that moment. But honestly, I can't hate on you. That was a tough place to be. 6-3 victory. But it looks like we're about to hop into map number 3, column between Oxygen and F&I. Training grounds. And I think F&I is a decent team here, but is Oxygen a better one? You said that you have no reason to believe they're going to lose. I don't think so either.
I mean, I don't think they've had any reason to be doubted here.
Godfather
dominated the first. I was going to keep changing voices, but no, they have dominated the first 2 maps. I mean, it got a little close. Fire and Ice gave them a good run for their money in map 1, got a lot of points on the board, got a couple of rounds in map 2, but it was just, I never felt like Oxygen was in danger. It was never like, oh man, they're about to drop this one. They're about to lose it here. And now they're coming in here to Training Grounds, which is a map where, and especially on Escalation, if you can kind of win a couple of initials, you might be able to hold your opponent down. But if you cannot win those initials, it makes Escalation that much harder to try to come back into it. It looks like they're finally going to challenge up to the top. Here comes a secondary flash. Not going to find any stuns there, and finally going to drop one at the feet. But, I mean, they're trying to find an answer here, but nobody from Oxygen or Fire and Ice can truly find an opening.
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely expected both teams to already have concluded the initial, but not the case at all. Even the 1v1 on the opposite end, Rapidz and Scavzy not wanting to make a move because they don't know how this is going to pan out. But Scavzy ultimately does move forward, and he goes for the cap. Rapidz doesn't even want to challenge him, and we do see a bit of a sneak attack here on the opposite end. Oxygen going for a sneaky domination. Do they get it? Oh, they're not going to get it just yet because Rocky has died off, but I do appreciate the play.
And a good attempt here. Chavii is going to get that down on Abolics and see the kill coming through. So multiple players from Oxygen getting tagged up, taken down, even with the 2-to-1 hill advantage and a few point lead for themselves. They are going to lose that mid-neutral hill, and I think Rapidz actually saw that second player coming off a spawn. He backs up, takes the cover there with his teammate. Now both players from Oxygen drop off.
Oh, no.
No, Rapidz, why? That's your friend, that's your buddy, that's your compadre, your compatriot, your comrade.
It's not close enough, it seems, man. Sometimes, you know, the mother-in-law comes over. Maybe you're not the biggest fan. That could have been one of those situations. Now it's up to F&I to play extra hard.
Hold on.
Oh, no.
Did you just call somebody a mother-in-law?
I'm just saying the dynamic is there. I didn't call anybody the mother-in-law. I'm just saying sometimes when the mother-in-law comes over, it could be good. Sometimes it can be bad. It really just depends. But Fire and Ice, you want to talk about a recovery? Hey, Rocky, you got to get a move on, brother. You got to get a touch, and you're not going to because Solar was ready to go. He said, call me out of my mistake. Fine, but watch what I'm going to do afterwards. That's a rug pull round, in my opinion. F&I wins one where Oxygen was looking pretty solid on.
And that's a good first round again for Fire and Ice. And I don't even know if it was a rug pull round. There was a good, I think, like, yes, they had a team kill and they gave up that B hill. But that initial, the way that Oxygen was trying to pressure out different players from Fire and Ice and couldn't really get it done in the first early goings of that map until they finally got a kill at B. Then they move in and get the 2-1 hill advantage. It was just one of those situations to me that Fire and Ice had a great initial. They had a slip in the middle, but you can always come back from that. That's not something impossible to come back from. Bronny's going to go up top here. He's going to be challenged by 2 of Fire and Ice, and one more player's holding back just in case both of them die, and they've got to guard up the old home hill. Rocky's going to bounce into the B hill, and Fire and Ice might be able to take over that top ledge. Scavzy backs all the way up to try to help his teammate, puts shots into Solar, but Rocky has to be careful here. He's going to be in a 1v1 situation, trying to get a back A to go onto Rapidz. Not going to be able to get that, though. And once again, Fire and Ice, they have a good initial here.
Great initial indeed, and now I'm starting to see why they had such success over Elevate just a series before. We didn't get a chance to watch the map, but we definitely heard the result, and F&I dominated that escalation. So now F&I is proving as to why that is the case. Great job from Solar, and Fire and Ice is inching their way closer and closer over towards A. Rocky is the only obstacle to get through, and he's clearly a big obstacle as he takes down Chavii, and he is not pumping the brakes at all. Look at him. He is hungry to take down Solar as well.
And that's kind of what Rocky needs to do. Based on that last round, Rocky's got to get hungry here. And Scavzy might be a little hungrier.
Might be. And that's okay, though. Same teammate, same family.
You got to eat, man. You got to get to the kitchen table. And if it was anything like the farmhouse when I was growing up, look, they put the food down. If you weren't there and you weren't eating up as fast as you could go, you wasn't eating, brother.
Hey, that's a savage environment. Now I see why you became the man that you are today, okay? Eating popcorn and Apple Jacks while you cast because you don't got a care in the world, baby. And I respect you for that. I really do. And I respect Rocky for challenging this 1v2. But is he going to be successful? Well, at least he gets the decap. That's one job done. A lot of work needing to still occur for Oxygen to have some fun and win the round. And I don't know if they're going to be able to because F&I is just holding on tight. The only obstacle now is to keep B in their possession, which Oxygen is getting. And now C is going to be the next line of attack.
I don't think that they're going to be able to win this round still because C's so very far away from everything, and you've got to be picture perfect from here on out. And with that player spawning right there, player 3, Rapidz has like kind of a free run. He gets a free shot, maybe even 2 because of the spawn protection lasting as long as it does. He's going to come off spawn, try to get the grill of somebody. Rocky literally just ran down midfield like he was trying to catch a go route right there. He was trying to catch a Hail Mary, and he ended up catching a whole lot of Lancer bullets. He went down. This is going to be 2-0 for Fire and Ice and Taylor. I've got a pretty important question for you that has nothing to do with this game because right now it's pretty simple. Fire and Ice have good initials, and they're able to hold on to those leads after those good initials. So that's pretty much well and tidied up. And I got a very important question, though, Taylor. What's your favorite color Gatorade?
You know what? The lime green. And I tell you what, it's not lime green. It's not lime green. Don't care what the voice of God says. Really don't. Okay. I'm going to say it. It's a weird flavor, but it's a good flavor. Don't knock it till you try it. It's the cucumber lime flavor, I think it is. And it's actually delicious, Colin. It is actually delicious.
I'm gonna have to go and pick it up. I've always been, look, all of my sports teams my whole life were blue, so I was pretty much I was forced to drink blue Gatorade no matter what. Every team I ever played
So
on
just
was
because
blue.
their team color was blue, they would actually buy blue Gatorade? They wouldn't deviate from that?
Dude, do you know how
that is dedication.
I'm not a little stitious. I'm ultra stitious, okay?
That's a superstition. Buy the blue Gatorade, nothing else.
As long as we're winning, you buy the blue Gatorade. When we lose, you get water.
Now, so it wasn't like a patriotic thing. It was more so a superstition. Like, hey, we bought blue Gatorade the first game that we won in preseason. Continue to buy the blue Gatorade. Wear the same underwear and wear the same socks too. Do not change anything. Honestly, makes sense since you did baseball. Like I tell you, like baseball players are the most superstitious players out of all sports, in my opinion.
We can be weird, all right?
Very weird.
I fully admit to that.
Like when you guys go up there to bat and you have like your thing that
whole
you guys
routine.
Do. Yeah, the whole routine. Is that a superstitious thing? Is that just a habit thing? Get you in the zone? What is it?
It's both. It's some players develop a superstition based on how they're hitting. They might do something different when they get in the box. They get a homer, they get a double, whatever it might be. You're gonna do that until you strike out. You're just always gonna do that same exact routine down to a T. Just like, Fire and Ice, they do the same thing on checkout. Didn't come back to work out too well for them. This is the first round that Oxygen's really challenging that good initial from Fire and Ice. They're going to be able to come back into this and take a point lead in about 20 or 30 seconds. And you see Oxygen playing back now. They're giving up the top part of the overlook over to the side of Fire and Ice, and Fire and Ice might try to use that to get a player into this B hill, but they have to rotate somebody else in the God spot here to try to help out two players playing defense at the B hill. It's going to be Bronny alongside of Rocky, and they are going to be in a swift 2v2. Up top of the overlook is going to be another 2v2. Not won by anybody just yet, but Scavzy picks up the first, but now it's Scavzy versus a 1v1 against Solar, and Solar, he's going to win it. That should open up a decap, maybe even the run at A. Solar, go to A, or go to C, decap C.
Nah, he's going to stay where he's at because he wants to solidify B with his teammates, Toxiq and Rapidz. Good play or not, that's the decision he has made, but it's a big battle. It's now technically a 3v3 over in this place, and man, Abolics as well as, Scavzy and Abolics do see an opportunity. They're going to go ahead and defend their home hill, but ultimately push up to Overlook, you'd have to assume, but the fight is won on B, and we did see, like you mentioned, right, that player staying up top. Well, we saw an opportunity to help out on B, and now Fire and Ice might eventually park the bus. I don't think they're going to do it just yet, but they do have Toxiq and Rapidz once again staying on B. So this is going to be a big moment for Oxygen, and they've already lost Rocky. They're probably going to lose this round too.
I mean, if they keep dropping off like this, that's a big retake for Fire and Ice. That's a big boy play right there. Pulling your pants up and getting the job done like it was the middle of a summer day, and you got to finish propping up. You got to get it here against Chavii, though, and Chavii's going to see both of these players bounce down, and he misses the shot on Abolics, and now Abolics going for the D gap here at the A hill. They've still got to get somebody on the B to go for the neutralization. Bronny jumps. Rocky gets in. Rocky trying to get a D cap. He gets it. Still is not down. And if he gets this other kill, it could still go the way of Oxygen. But he goes down. He gets cleaned up. And Toxiq, he'll get the B hill. No, he won't. What the God's name is happening? Somebody get me a crazy bowl and a thing of turkey, because my God, them Oxygen boys have been eating good tonight.
That's the round. That is the round, bro. Like, Oxygen, momentum, boom, shifted over to their side column. They're feeling good now. This is where F&I can truly get in their head, all right? They're already a younger team. We've seen them make some errors and mistakes in the past. If they're going to get derailed, they're going to get derailed after a loss like that because they got so used to being in control. I got so used to them being in control. But now that control is gone, and Oxygen just snuck around that they fought hard for, and a lot went right to win that. So that is crazy.
Absolutely insane in the membrane. That's a big round for Oxygen to come away with. That makes it 2-1. Going in the last round of the first half, and instead of being, best case scenario 3-1, there's a chance they get this thing tied up at 2-2. They're going to get the mid-neutral hill yet again. Fire and Ice has been extraordinary at getting inside of that mid-neutral hill and getting those initial point advantages for them. Opposite side of the map, though, it's going to be a 3v2. Fire and Ice is going to have the advantage here. Bronny tries to bounce up and get one kill. Here comes Abolics. They're going to pressure to the top. They need one more shot on. They get the kill. Here comes an incendiary And my man went barbecuing for just a moment. Chavii, he's going to have to rotate into the backside of the U. Scavzy trying to bait out the up A. Gets that shot over the top, gets the down. They get the cover hop. 2-1 hill advantage in favor of Oxygen. They flip the script right early in this round number 4. They have an early point lead, and they have possession. All they got to do now is play some defense.
Can't believe Solar gets crossed out by Abolics that far away. Granted, he gets back into the fight, but the pressure is there without question. You do notice player 6 from Auction. He's debating, does he want to go down and help player 7? Does he want to go to Overlook? Smart play, Bronny, is to go help your teammates, because here comes the cavalry from Fire and Ice. The damage is absolutely going to be helpful. The chunk is there for the trade. Big team pickups, though, between Toxiq and Chavii that allows them to get back into the fight, forcing Bronny to try and go big in this moment. A couple of pellets hit on Chavii. He doubles back, trying to get the finish. Bit of a roll. He's going to end up falling, and there it is. Just like that, Fire and Ice has Overlook. They're going home to home, and they're also going to be able to apply pressure on B. So Oxygen has to be very cognizant about the situation they are in, because it could get nasty quickly.
And I think what they're going to do is try to just smoke out, get into the hill for some neutralizations. That down on Rocky is huge, because last round we saw what Rocky was able to do in a situation to the B hill that was not in their favor. Now Bronny and Abolics have to kind of fly over here to the A hill. Decap comes through, and now they don't have to stay on the hill. All they got to do is win the fights. They can get a kill or 2 here. They give himself a chance to win this. Toxiq's hanging out in the corner and gets taken down. 2 players left alive. Rocky throws his splash, but gets taken down in a bat of an eye, and Fire and Ice. They finish off a triple cab domination, and they go up 3-1 going into the second half.
And I also have to thank Bronny's positioning. I know he eventually joins onto Overlook, but by the time he gets there, it's a little bit too late. F and I had already broke that threshold from Monument into Overlook, and then they did a great job getting each other back into the fight, and that was Toxiq and his teammate, and I want to say maybe Chavii, who were constantly picking each other up and then ultimately to re-engage. That was a beautiful retake from Fire and Ice, and it's not easy to retake in the way that they just did, but hats off to them for staying composed and obviously sticking it till the very end, and that puts them in a great position, 3-1, and most importantly, it shows that they weren't rattled whatsoever about that loss before.
Not at all, not for a single solitary moment. And again, I think that's to me, that's a big takeaway about Fire and Ice. They might be a young team, but that to me says a lot about the fact that they don't have a care in the world whether they're winning rounds or losing rounds. That they keep up beat. They say, let's just go into the next one, try to win another one. They did just that. And now in the second half, they can't get into the E-Hill just yet. They've got to try to get some of these kills on these Overlook players. Big Lancer shots out from the 90-degree from Rock as Abolics to finish him off. Scavzy's going to get one of his own. They need one more to deal with to try to hold this off and get the 2-1 hill advantage. And they get a triple. Are they?
Yeah.
Hey, whoa.
So let me explain. I was watching that. You remember when Rocky, I think it was round 1. Yeah, it was round 1. They had that big stalemate, remember, on Overlook. And Rocky transferred over, and he went to the home hill of Fire and Ice to try and lock in the domination. It was, that's why I called it the rug pull round, because I liked what I saw from Oxygen off the rip, even though Fire and Ice did an excellent job after that point. Scavzy sees the same stalemate taking place, same situation. He goes for the overextension over towards D. He gets there in time. Now, the dangerous thing about that is the stalemate on E is still there, but it's starting to pop off a little bit more, and First Blood has already gone over to the way of Oxygen. So once Scavzy wins that home hill fight, Fire and Ice wasn't ready at all to battle against that, and they obviously ended up winning that round. So that was a great play from Scavzy, and almost identical, again, to that round number 1 that almost worked in a way of domination, too.
Here we are, top of the Overlook. 2-2 here with 1 player each from the team going down low. Nobody from the opposite team is challenged across to the home hill just yet. Abolics is trying to find a possible angle to try to push across this top angle. Chavii's going to go down just in time before he gets behind that hill. Is just waiting out now the pressure of Oxygen, and I think a lot of utility has been used up. Bronny will be with a flash, and on the opposite side, nobody will have any utility. So Bronny will have an ability to kind of throw a flash and try to get loose. They might want to switch his spot with Abolics or just allow him to use it to try to flash out that front player.
I wonder if Rapidz tries to take a page out of the playbook of Oxygen. He's actually going to. I'm not against this. You know, again, the stalemate is already there. You have Scavzy, who's focused on the Overlook fight. Now he finds out that Rapidz is here. It'd be so funny if this ends in the same exact way as it did before, but Rapidz is down. Scavzy holds his ground. This is great for Oxygen because you don't know how, you don't know the results of this fight yet. It's still underway. And if Oxygen loses this, well, hey, they still have their home hill. If they win it, even better. Now they've got the 2-1. But things are getting tense for Chavii and Solar because they're by themselves now. The pressure is real. The 3-man push from Oxygen is here. But FNI does pass that threshold that Oxygen doesn't want to surpass. So we're going to have a bit of a stalemate even longer as FNI at least mounts up slowly but surely to push forward.
Solar trying to get up to the stairs, but he's going to get lancered out, and Bronny's putting out all the damage in the world on those two players. They have gotten tagged up heavily. Now they're going to try to move up with right hand a little bit around that Chavii to try to stop Chavii from hiding out. Back gaze will get one down. Rocky gets another down, and they're going to turn back and be able to settle out the defensive stand there as best they can. Here we see on the harbor map between the Knights and E United. Oh! Knights have 5-0'd them!
Whoa!
Whoa, hey, that's what goodness gracious, come on now.
That's wild. That's one that I wish we would have seen. Granted, I'm liking the series between FNI and Oxygen, but like, how the hell did Pittsburgh Knights pull that off with how well E United was playing just earlier on the Harbor, and that's one of their stronger maps. That's crazy, but hey, good job, the Pittsburgh Knights. That series will continue, and I'm not going to lie, I thought that was going to end in a way of 3-0. As soon as I knew we were going picture-picture, I was like, all right, we're about to watch United close this out. Not the case at all, so that will continue, and who knows, we might go to a Game 5 there as well. This round's still underway, and Oxygen cruising their way to victory, and it is going to be tied up 3-3, so this one might not even go to a map 4 now because Oxygen has tied it up.
Oxygen fighting back into this one very good in the second half. I mean, it seems like as soon as that hill went to the E hill and they have kind of a big team fight there to fight over, instead of splitting their forces 2-2, they're mounting up a 3-man offensive push over there, and that has definitely been the Achilles heel thus far in the second half of Fire and Ice because they just can't overpower. They don't have the firepower there to really take care of Oxygen's soldiers.
Oh, interesting. Actually, half the retro, so obviously Oxygen likes having that for themselves instead of upgrading. Meanwhile, Chavii wants to make this fight on Overlook a little more interesting, which I'm not against. I'm really not, because first and foremost, FNI likes to fight up there. It's been a standstill. It's not a guarantee that one team or the other wins it, so why not up the ante? This is a good play. So Fire and Ice, this is going to be interesting. Again, I like seeing the headbutt fight. I really do. You go back to checkout, Oxygen was obviously winning them more often than not, even on Reactor. But like, this is a different map, and Fire and Ice has been playing quite well. So this could benefit them greatly.
Let's see what they do here is Abolics is going to try to get onto that right side. He's going to be able to try to pressure out the player that came up top. Rapidz waiting in the wings, though, gets that first shot. Bronny tries to go for a wrap, and he takes him down as well. Big back A out. That's 2 down and dead. Mid neutral hill will go over to Fire and Ice. The long shot will be picked up onto Toxiq here. Rapidz is going to push over here onto Scavzy. Scavzy trying to look down, trying to find a shot to get a kill, but this is interesting simply because the home-to-home stretch has come through momentarily for Oxygen to give them a point lead, kind of a cushion in this situation, but Fire and Ice will get their home hill back, and now can Oxygen push back into this E hill, into this situation before Fire and Ice can really set back up? Are they going to be able to use this long shot to their benefit? But the incendiary from downtown.
Rocky, good job on him. He doubles back. Solar's also out of the way. Rapidz is gone. This is a total collapse from Fire and Ice. Player 4, the only one on the map currently, alongside that a Toxiq, of course, but he just got back into the fight, and it looked as if Oxygen was going to fully commit for the domination, but they pumped the brakes. I'm totally for that. The big thing is, though, again, going back, Rocky connecting on the ensign, gets him out of the way, affords Oxygen, obviously, to get the break, but also gets the sniper over into his hands. What a turn of events.
Rocky trying to just find somebody to maybe body shot over the top of this cover. Gets this headshot there onto Rapidz. Toxiq is going to be trying to fly up those stairs to get into the face of Rocky to stop him from being able to use that long shot, but Can't get anything yet. Rapidz throws the flash over the top. Rocky misses another long shot, but Rapidz
they're all down.
Almost had it there, but they all go down. They're all dead. Oxygen. They will win their 3rd round in a row and take their first lead of map number 3. They go up 4-3, and they could close this one out here in map 3 with a 3-0 victory over Fire and Ice if they can get one more round under their belts.
Yeah, one more round is all it takes. Still, man, that connection from Rocky was beautiful, Colin. It really was. Through the scoreboard just a little bit. Rocky, 15k damage, but Scavzy really the hero, isn't he? And again, that's why I'm a big fan of Scavzy. I'm telling you, he brings so much value, and he caps and breaks that he has as well, Colin. So he's getting that damage, but he's also getting the big assist, but he's getting inside the hills and making an impact, and I appreciate that from him, especially with how much of objective work has been played here between F&I and Oxygen. Scavzy's made a big difference. He really has. So definitely a player to watch for, but everybody kind of having their time in the spotlight. Fire and Ice, pressure at an all-time high. They've got to come back here, force a round 9, but who knows if it's going to be possible. Scavzy, he needs to know somebody's waiting in the shadows.
I think Rapidz wants to try to get a quick shot onto him as he hops the cover, and Scavzy, oh, that's a big brick. Scavzy should go down, and he does as he tries to hop the cover yet again, and that will open up Rapidz to go to home, and that's going to put pressure here on Oxygen to win this top side of the map, at least be able to put pressure on this mid-neutral hill. And there's a down, there's a quick revive out. Bronny trying to get these team revives, but look at the way they've collapsed on him. Instead of going home, Fire and Ice brought the 4th member of their party into this fight at the E-Hill as they want to win the long shot again. They want to win the mid-neutral again, and they want to make Oxygen make a miracle play yet again to try to win this map.
Well, that miracle play was made last round, but you can't bank on that every single time. So for Fire and Ice, they are in good control. And Solar is going to hold on tight to that sniper. I believe so anyways. And he's about to have some company. It's interesting his spot, though. You know, normally you would expect him to be where Toxiq is at, but Solar has advanced forward, ultimately backing off and hasn't even fired a shot yet. There's the first one, but he didn't even try to line it up. A bit lazy, in my opinion. Rocky, a big body shot, but Oxygen, no reason to stop. They're going to continue to push forward, but there's the shot we're waiting for. Can we get a second? Well, that's a good body, but no one is there to get the cleanup.
Solar trying to get that L trigger to come through. Toxiq, little roadie strafe out, gets that first chunk as the team revives are just being... No team revives. None. Who got a touch? Rocky did as he, or Scavzy did as he ran through a shock grenade.
I appreciate it. I do, but this over with. Let's go to that round 9. All right.
Have you ever wondered if like running through a shock grenade in this game kind of creates like the same effect as like getting tasered in real life? Like you just kind of like seize up? Or is it more comical to you? Is it more like the cartoon thing where the guy's getting shocked and you can see his bones and stuff like an X-ray?
I don't know. I mean, if they seized up, Abolics doesn't even get a touch there. He just falls on his face, which would be even more comical, in my opinion, than even the cartoon. Imagine, imagine a giant swarm character or Locust or Cog, whatever, running through the shock and just falling straight on his face as soon as he touches it. I think that'd be pretty awesome.
It's one of the things that I always laugh at. Talk about how big a Swarm or a Locust character is.
And just falling on his face.
Well, because they want to have the hitboxes all the same. People that have never like read the lore or really like gone in depth with how big some of these characters are. The guys that play like the Scions, like, you know what I'm talking about when I say the Scion? You know what that character model looks like?
Yep.
In the book, they basically describe the Scion as being the size of like F-150.
No, I know.
So, like, I just always imagine that now. When I'm like, somebody gets a headshot, I'm like, no wonder they got a headshot. The Scion's head has got to be freaking watermelon. Massive.
I remember you actually talking about that. I think there's another character, too, that's like 6'7" or something like that. 6'8".
Rom is like 7.
Yeah, but it's like if you had him being 7 foot, like, it just wouldn't be fair. You know, no one would play him. So it's kind of funny how that. Well, actually, no, you might play him because then you could just look over at Overlook from the bottom section and just chunk people left and right, and they can't even touch you. So funny stuff. I do want to point out
he's 10 feet exactly. Excuse me.
That's, again, like, would be funny to see if he was actually true to scale, you know, playing on this map. The initial doesn't work out for Fire and Ice. They are fighting back, but I do want to point out, by the way, and I don't know how you feel about this, Rapidz took his time to double back and go for the shock instead of going for the 4v4 fight over on the snipe. And I think the reason why he does that is because we've seen so many stalemates that he probably assumed, I have time to get this and have time to get back over there to pick up the shock. But the thing is, the shock's going to pick up in the kill feed. Oxygen's going to see that, and they know they have the man advantage. They pounced on it. And that's why Fire and Ice is in such an abysmal state as it is, 200 to 112.
Rocky's going to drop that shock. It's going to buy them more time here, and that's exactly what they need. Again, this is down to under 10 seconds. You can't really run through that shock. It's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to get these decaps, and it'll be less than 5 seconds to go. They're going to be able to they're going to double up the time, really, for just a moment. You see it went up to 15. They've got to get, oh my God, they got all the decaps, though. They've got to finish off D-Hill. They got to get that back in their favor, and nobody from Fire and Ice except for Toxiq is going to be able to come off the spawn to really get a chance at this decap. They get one more kill there. They wrap it up 5-4. Fire and Ice, they drop to Oxygen 3-0.